by the balls and didn't let go. I was like, what, 13 years old, 14 years old. I used to sell Quaaludes at Starwood, and I saw this band Van Halen play, and I was just like, wow.
You want to talk about the strip and creating rock and roll. Nobody can recreate what they did.
Any band is always influenced by their environment, wherever they come from. Black Sabbath were from Birmingham, very dour, low-key, very working-class oriented, and it certainly shows in their music and their approach and attitude to life. But California, Hollywood, is glitz, glamour, glitter.
5,000 miles and a continent away from the land where metal was forged, there was an uprising of a different sort taking place. And unlike the gritty industrial vibe of England, the new scene was drenched in sunshine.
You can't get much more opposite than Birmingham, England, and Los Angeles Sunset Strip. You know, the bright colors and the spandex and the shoes and the boots and the girls.
Up to that point, heavy metal was very much about men. It was macho. It was standing on stage and being very forceful. Now suddenly it's cool to be a character again. Suddenly it was cool to be a little trashy, a little sleazy, a little sexy, as it were.
And that's what happened with heavy metal groups in Los Angeles. They took the essence of the music, but they glamified it.
Before people used the term hair metal, I remember they used to use a term called teeth metal. These are bands who smile. Van Halen created it. This was heavy music, but like the singer likes to be there.
I love talking. I love telling jokes. For me, this is just one big wet t-shirt contest, you know?
They just kind of summed up everything about the California lifestyle. They didn't go in for the trappings, you know, the witches and the mysticism in the woods. It's all about chicks and cars and good times. And they really Americanized heavy metal.
Van Halen came together in 1974 and spent the next 3 years honing their chops in the LA club scene.
If you want to talk about the strip and creating rock and roll in LA, nobody can recreate what they did.
I was like, what, 13 years old, 14 years old. I used to sell Quaaludes at Starwood, and I saw this band Van Halen play, and I was just like, wow.
I used to go to see him at the Whiskey. I swear to God, I used to sit on the stage, and here'd be Van Halen flying all over the place like it was an arena, and there'd be 12 people there. I said to my guys, there's something new going down, and sure enough, Van Halen erupted.
In 1978, Van Halen released their self-titled debut. Chock full of radio-friendly hits, the album went platinum 6 times over.
When Van Halen 1 came out, everyone in Britain just picked up on it and said, have you heard this album? It's so different. It's so exciting. It's so fresh. It's so not British.
If there is any design to it at all, the sound of Van Halen is meant to spill over all over your turntable and ruin the rest of your records.
When Van Halen 1 came out, it revolutionized guitar playing. Eddie played with a style that nobody before him ever had played.
Anybody who just listens to the beginning of a Rush, just the beginning, even if you're not a guitar player, the way that hits you. All that stuff just jumps out and just goes bam right in your nuts.
Every guitar player that came out from that point on, no pun intended, tapped into the Eddie Van Halen style.
With flash, flare, and sex appeal, Van Halen's popularity soared worldwide. They were taking heavy metal on a new ride, and everyone was invited, especially women.
When Van Halen came over to the UK, they supported Black Sabbath on Black Sabbath's 10th anniversary tour. Now, can you imagine that? Sabbath, heavy metal gods, supported by these upstarts from America. Well, what's going to happen? Well, obviously these upstarts from America, they're going to get no chance. In fact, it was Sabbath who had no chance. Every night on that tour, Black Sabbath were blown off by Van Halen. It was Eddie Van Halen playing out of his skin and David Lee Roth all over the place, like a mesmerizing figure.
Nobody has seen a front man like Roth before. Roth's showmanship influenced a whole new generation of front men.
He's like a Liberace of rock and roll.
David Lee Roth wanted to appeal to the girls as much as the boys, and people loved him for it.
What you see on stage with Van Halen is only what you're going to find underneath the stage. And what you see backstage is probably what you're going to find upstairs in the hotel.
They were completely populist. Van Halen was for everybody. To say you like Van Halen, I mean, that's like saying you like pro football. It was the widest possible net for a rock band to have.
Van Halen had made heavy metal more popular than ever before. Once left for dead by critics like Lester Bangs, the scene was now thriving, and so was the music. The band's third offering, Women and Children